During a speech this past Friday evening, embattled Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz said that he is not going anywhere. No, the man remains defiant, even as the scandal into his activities deepens. This, by the way, happened on the same day that the House Ethics Committee announced, hey, we're going to investigate you too, because if you were in fact sharing nude photos of women you've allegedly slept with to other members of Congress, you can't do that. So we're going to investigate you as well. Also, of course, the claims of potential illicit drug use, which, I really don't care about that. What the guy does on his own time, sure, okay. But yeah, the sharing of nude photos of these women, absolutely go after him. And then, of course, that evening, Gaetz spoke at a MAGA Republican women convention and said, I'm not going anywhere. In fact, he said this past week had been encouraging for him. Here's what he said. This past week has been full of encouragement from President Trump, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Jim Jordan to the MAGA nation that shares so much love. So let me assure you, I have not yet begun to fight for the country I love and the nation I know benefits from America First principles. I'm built for the battle, and I'm not going anywhere. You're not, though. You're really not. What you're built for is for Daddy to bail you out of everything. But Daddy has no say over any of this, right? Daddy doesn't have power anymore. And he sure as hell doesn't have any power outside of the state of Florida. Not to mention the fact that we know your buddy Joel Greenberg is about to start talking to the feds. His lawyer admitted that you're probably not feeling very well that day. That was Thursday, I think. And then the next day you said, what an encouraging week. No, it's encouraging for all the people who despise you and everything you stand for. We had a great week. We absolutely were loving every second of that because you're being exposed for who you are. As I've repeatedly said during this very short, what are we talking about now? 14 days? The scandal's only 2 weeks. And the reason this even happened in the first place, I firmly believe, is because you grew up in a life without consequences. As I mentioned, Daddy was there to bail you out of every single thing. That cop that pulled you over, gave you a DUI, he ended up getting fired and you ended up getting let off the hook. Daddy was always there for you. But Daddy can't save you from this. And the more we find out, the more it's obvious that you've done some pretty illicit things over the years. He hasn't been charged yet, so we can't say for certain whether it happened, but the evidence is truly becoming overwhelming at this point. But Matt Gaetz, a lot like Donald Trump, suffers from a very severe narcissistic personality disorder. I think that much is also obvious. And because of that, his arrogance is not going to allow him to step down. His arrogance and his affluenza is not going to let him acknowledge that maybe he did something wrong. And considering the fact that only a handful of Republicans, I think at this point, have actually spoken out against him, you have as many speaking out against him as you do coming out supporting him. The rest of the party's totally quiet. But that's not enough to keep you alive. If you get charged with anything, watch how quickly your entire party turns on you, bud. That's why you could do the noble thing and just step down. But you won't. And you're going to drag this out as long as possible. And those of us who are your constituents that have had to deal with your nonsensical BS for 4 years now, we couldn't be more excited to watch you go down in flames.